Welcome, everybody. My name's Marilee Burnett, and I am back again with the messages for the week of July 8th, 2024. And we have just come through the new moon in Cancer, so you may be starting to feel the urge to start something new this week. So let me know in the comments what you experienced. I'd love to hear that based on what was projected from the last week. Now, if you're new to my channel, you don't know that yet, so be sure to click that subscribe button down below, and then that way you're notified each time I upload new content, which I do every week and every day on my shorts, which you can see on the YouTube channel, or you can go out to my website and see my daily posts there as well. So thank you to all those who have been a part of my small but mighty channel. And I welcome those who are new as well. And if you haven't yet, go out to my website, marileeburnett.com, and subscribe there as well. And that way you get content emailed to you directly, such as my monthly horoscope for July, which includes the upcoming very interesting full moon at 29 degrees of Capricorn, which is a degree that is going to get a serious workout from September to mid-November. So you're going to want to pay attention to that one. And of course, we'll talk more about that next week, as well as some exciting, unexpected events that are going to go on next week. But we'll talk more about that at the end of today's video. So we will break it down day by day. I try to focus on the major aspects that are happening in the week ahead, not necessarily every single thing. And what is going to be calling our attention this week is going to be some work between Jupiter and the nodes. So we will take a look now. I have the Astrologer software up that helps me show you what is going on as we look at the screen. So let's get started with Monday. Of course, it's July 8th, and you'll notice there's a whole lot of blue energy, and the blue means there is a lot of supportive energy available to you. Now, what's happening specifically? Mercury in the sign of Leo, which helps lighten up some of our conversations, make them a lot more fun. It also puts leaders and their conversations in the spotlight. Their speech is in the spotlight. So I'm already imagining where this is heading for the week. You might be as well. What Mercury's doing is speaking in harmony with Jupiter that happens to be in Mercury's home sign, Gemini. So the two are combining to make the information that's available to you even bigger. So it's a great week if you're working on content, writing, teaching, taking a course. Anything to do with communication is getting a boost from Jupiter. Now, Jupiter gives you blessings. So wherever you have Jupiter and Gemini in your chart, and Gemini's, you specifically could have a very big week ahead, this energy is getting enhanced. So it's combining, like I mentioned, with Mercury. This is part of the conversation. But if you look at this big blue triangle, Mercury is also speaking in harmony with the nodes. So the South Node is in Libra, where it's been for about a year now, almost exactly. And the North Node is traveling opposite of it in the sign of Aries. Now this makes two fire signs with Leo and Aries speaking together. So whatever is going on Monday, the information that is coming out is important. It is fated. And the North Node, like Jupiter, gives us lessons. It's what we're here to learn. It's what we're here to accomplish in this lifetime. The South Node, it's what we've already done. So our strengths lie in the South Node, in the relationships that we've had in the past, the karmic relationships we've had in the past. And they may provide us with an opportunity to help us grow into the future. But we can't stay stuck there. So there is something here, a conversation maybe with somebody you've had a relationship in the past with, that comes up this week that is important for your journey, important for your growth. Jupiter is a teacher. And while it can provide you blessings, it also provides you lessons. So if you are off your path, if you're not learning what you're supposed to be learning, then Jupiter will gently but significantly prod you this week. So I'm very intrigued, as I always am, which is why I do astrology, because it just always intrigues me and fascinates me, to see where this week is headed, because it's starting out very, very interesting. So it's not a week to fight against fate. It never is, but it specifically is not this week. And you need to go where you're being prodded. Now, there is another interesting connection. This is the moon in Leo. Again, when the moon's in Leo, you should be feeling fun and adventurous. And your intuition will speak to you more when you're doing things that are fun to you. But it's making a really odd connection, this in conjunct, this green line, back to Saturn, which is now retrograde in the sign of Pisces. So again, karma and the past are coming up. I always feel that when planets turn retrograde, they start stirring things up, right? The energy is whipping things up. It's changing direction. And while we go within to do work when planets go retrograde, there is things that are stirred up that we need to do the work on. And something big, major, something where we need to keep our emotions in check, which is what Saturn will do with the moon. It's like, you need to really think about something, and you need to pay attention to what is coming up in what your intuition is trying to guide you to pay attention to. So very interesting. And the moon will then square Mars. So I can't wait to hear from you. Have us on. Whatever's going on this week, it's a big deal. It's really important. And Monday is what will kick all of this energy off for us. So we're not even done yet talking about Monday. Uranus, and pay attention to the Uranus events this week especially, is speaking in harmony with Venus, the ruler of Taurus, where Uranus is sitting. Now, it's a sextile. It's a little more subtle energy that you have to tune in and pay attention to. However, Uranus is not subtle. And all this week, Mars and Uranus are going to be marching closer and closer together until they meet up next week. But that doesn't mean we aren't already seeing things that are shocking, surprising, explosive, a need to break free, making crazy changes. And they meet in the area of the sky that has everything to do with the fixed star Algol, which doesn't have the best reputation. So there is something this week that, again, it could really be shocking to us and bring a lot of unexpected change. All right. Again, keep me posted. As we move on, we're going to take a look, of course, at Tuesday. And what you'll notice now is Jupiter is exactly exactly connected to the North Node and the South Node. So this, maybe Monday you saw the preview, maybe Tuesday it comes up even bigger. Like I said, this connection is going to last all week long, but these first couple of days of the week is where it will be the most intense, and Tuesday is the most intense of all as these become exact in their conversation. So again, could unfold all week long. Maybe you've already seen something in the previous week that was coming up. And again, it's a lesson, right? It's helping you get on the course you were meant to be on. And that North Node in Aries is all about choosing yourself, being confident, being able to pursue what you want. And the South Node is moving away from relationships where you're feeling stuck and stagnant, and where you don't have healthy boundaries. So that is where we are going on Tuesday. Not a lot that we have to go over. Let's go ahead, and I'm just going to point out, not going to stop here on Wednesday, but just to show you, right? Still have Jupiter at the 10 degrees. Same thing with both of the nodes. That's why that conversation will continue. And then we're moving into Thursday. And Thursday, what we have added to the work that we're doing is the sun in Cancer that is speaking in harmony with Saturn. So that's a lot of water energy, a lot of emotions, and intuition, right? Sensitivity. So you're successful caring and nurturing for yourself and others. Maybe you're successful in real estate, things to do with home and family. And there's some connection to the past. Again, Saturn rules time, it rules karma, it rules restrictions, it rules structure, it rules older people. So there's something about maybe an older leader that comes up in a positive way on Thursday that we will see, and it will be notable. The other thing that happens on Thursday is Venus leaves the watery emotional sign of Cancer and now moves into the sign of Leo. So Venus likes Leo. It's love, right? It's passion, it's romance, and it is a lot more fun. So we see a change in the things that we love, right? Wherever Venus moves. And so for the next 3 weeks, we'll have again both Venus and Mercury in the sign of Leo, inviting us to tune in and tap into the things that we enjoy and that are fun and bring our passion and our spark back to life. So that's something to look forward to on Thursday as well. And then I'm just pointing it out, as Mars keeps getting closer and closer to Uranus, we should start to feel some activity here. Now, this could bring activity to the earth, right? This is earth energy. This could bring unexpected surprises in our finances. It'll be interesting to see how the financial markets respond to this. Now, Uranus wants you to break free, right? And Mars wants you to take action. So where do you feel stuck? If you're stuck somewhere, this is where you want to tune in and tap in. Wherever these two are traveling in your chart, hold the answers to what it is that you need to explore. All right, that is our Thursday. On Friday, we have this difficult conversation between Venus in Leo that just wants to have fun, do what she wants, and Pluto in the sign, of course, of Aquarius and in retrograde. So there's something about the groups, your friends, that may be causing some difficulty where you're being called to pay attention to not just your needs, but the needs of other people. And so there is just a bit of a tense conversation. Now, Venus is not a fan of Pluto. So even though she's not as powerful, she will stand up for herself on this day. And women may stand up for themselves against some other group. So there may be something about a famous woman that's in the news on Friday because of this tense conversation. It's like a woman against a jury of her peers or something like that. Could be something legal that makes the news that has something to do with this topic. Still noticing that Jupiter's connected to the nodes. The nodes are starting to get ready to leave this 10 degrees. So this, again, though, Jupiter's a big planet, right? It's the biggest planet out there, and its influence is large for that reason. And that's why even though this connection is strongest this week, the influence has been felt leading up to this, and it will be felt after as well. So we have some time to still figure out the lessons and figure out, what is the work that we need to be doing at this time. You're also going to notice that on July 2nd, we had Neptune go retrograde. And as Neptune goes retrograde and Pluto keeps going retrograde, these are continuing a long-standing conversation that's been going on all year long. And it continues to focus our attention on the past. It continues to help us bring things up. Again, Pluto's our fears. It's the underworld. Neptune also under the water, right? So the two of these together are trying to bring things up for us to deal with. You can't keep things hidden. In fact, I think you're seeing people bring things up to the surface that you wish had stayed hidden, but it's so that we see it. And what we see, we can deal with and we can manage. So these will continue for some time. This conversation that is going on between these two is not one that's going to end quickly, but as they activate other planets, we need to pay attention. So as Neptune speaks in harmony when Venus was, again, transitioning between that Cancer and Leo energy, it's always important to pay attention to those connections. And while it's Venus and Pluto that speak exactly, there's still this influence from Neptune as well. So you've got to trust your intuition. You have to be aware of situations where you might be wearing rose-colored glasses, because usually when a planet turns retrograde, like Neptune, that can cause fogginess and delusional behavior and beliefs. Well, something now may make you more aware of something that is so important that it can't stay hidden anymore. So it will speak to you rather abruptly this week. So will it happen earlier in the week when Venus first moves through here? Or is it something that you notice on Friday? That's up to you and how you deal with energy. But it could be something that starts early in the week and then continues all week long as well. So we have some long-standing energy this week where we don't necessarily get those, quick hits. It's not just going to be one and done event. There is something that's building this week that we want to pay close attention to. All right. The other thing that you might notice, again, because we have an other influence, as I mentioned, Jupiter and the nodes are just about to separate. But before they do, the moon comes into Libra. And again, emotionally, you need to be relating to other people in order to feel secure. That's what a moon in Libra talks to you about. But there's something about those relationships that you need to understand. And Jupiter's going to teach you some kind of lesson about that. And then, as I mentioned, Mars is getting even closer to Uranus now, definitely within the 2 degrees where things are definitely getting stirred up. All right. Those are the big major events this week. As we move into Saturday and Sunday, you're not going to see anything different, but you are going to see the setup for things that are going to go on next week. So we're starting to see the buildup of these really important connections that we will be talking about next week. And then the same thing happens as we move into Sunday. Notable when the moon moves through is first it'll have that conversation with Saturn on Saturday, and then it'll have the conversation with Pluto. So again, emotionally this week, we've got to make some changes and we've got to break away from things that are causing us fear. All right, so let's take a quick peek at some of the things that are building next week. So the sun in Cancer is going to be squaring to Chiron. So this is a wound. This is a pain. This can be an illness. This again depends on where you have these things happening in your chart. Wherever the sun is shining light, it's suggesting that that's the area in your life where a change is needed, because what you're doing is harming yourself. Chiron in Aries, and you don't want to continue to do that. The other energy we'll see this week will be this exact connection. So Monday's the day that I expect to be the most explosive, surprising, shocking, and more so if this is something that you have in your chart at or around, I'd say 24 to 28 degrees of Taurus is going to be the most shocking changes. It doesn't have to be bad, right? But it does have to change. It's something that surprises you. It's Taurus. Buy lottery tickets, right? It could be a good surprise, a good financial surprise. It could be you quitting your job suddenly, right? You don't want to be trapped and stuck anymore, and it's time for you to take action. That's what Mars wants. Take action. Move. Make movement happen. So wherever you have this Taurus energy in your chart, you need to move. Maybe you need to literally move. Physically, you need to create movement. Otherwise, this energy will work on you and it won't feel comfortable because it's going to force you to move. So this is going to be some very interesting energy that we'll talk about a little bit more next week. But since we're in the influence of it all this week, just be prepared to be wowed and surprised and maybe a little shocked. But again, whatever comes up, we need it to come up. We need to see it. We need to break free from things where we're feeling stuck and trapped. So I'm intrigued. Are you intrigued? If you want to know more, book a session with me and we can talk about these things. You know, where do you have Jupiter in your chart right now? It's repeating a pattern from 2012, but it's not the exact pattern. But that's the last time you had Jupiter in the sign of Gemini in your chart. And right now, Jupiter will go retrograde, but not until October. And when it does that, it's going to start covering the territory between literally right here. So as of Monday, Jupiter is going to enter its pre-shadow. And then you want to literally pay close attention to the lessons that are showing up for you, because you're going to have to prove yourself when this goes retrograde in October. So again, you can go back to 2012, review some things that were coming up. I know what I needed to learn, and I am not going to repeat 2012. I can tell you that right now. So what is it that you need to learn? If you book a session with me, we can dive deep into that and uncover what's hidden for you. And again, take a look. Where do you have Jupiter in Gemini in your chart? Because it is going to have an impact on you. It's fated. Same thing with where is the North Node and the South Node. So for instance, if you're a middle degree Virgo like this chart and located somewhere like I am on the West Coast, your potential for the nodes changing houses has potential to create change for you as well. So it's good to know your chart. It's the most important thing you should know is how to manage your life, and knowing where things are happening and what houses are being impacted when and by what is how we make plans and how we are more successful by taking advantage of the energy that is showing up for us. All right. Hopefully you find this exciting and helpful and are already looking forward to the week ahead. Let me know if I can help you in any way in the comments down below. And I can't wait to hear how your week goes. I'll be sure to tell you how my week goes, and I will see you next week. Thanks, everybody. Be sure and check out your weekly tarot card messages as well. Those, along with this Astrolesson, are going to give you the big picture. Thanks again for tuning in. Talk to you next week.